As many of you know, prior to getting my Tundra, I had a black Tacoma, and it was beautiful when it was new and when it was clean. But unfortunately, black is very hard to keep looking clean, and it's also very hard to keep looking new because it scratches very easily and it shows all of the imperfections. And I swore to myself that I'd never buy another black truck again, or really a dark color for that matter. And then when it came time to pick out my Tundra, found myself in the middle of a pandemic trying to get an all-new model while there was a shortage of everything. And so I had to settle with the blueprint. It's a beautiful color, no doubt, but it is a color that shows all of those imperfections, and it's also very hard to keep clean. And so unfortunately, during the short 2,500 miles that I've had it, I've already put quite a few scratches on it. And so in today's video, I'm going to be putting a ceramic coating on to try to protect the paint as best as possible going forward. The kit that I'm using for today's video comes from Chemical Guys. This is not a sponsored video, and I don't have any experience using these products long term, so I don't know what the longevity is going to be like in terms of paint protection, but I've used their products on other vehicles in the past, and I've generally been pretty impressed with them, and I felt like this was a really simple system, and so that's why I decided to use it to protect the paint on the truck. If you guys want to check out these products, I will provide links to each of them in the description below. The first step of the process is going to be to wash the truck. So I've already done that basically just to save time for the video. I used Hydrocharge, which is a ceramic car wash soap. This soap is used in a foam cannon. So use the foam cannon, spray the truck down with water first, then with the foam cannon, get a lot of soap on there, and then do a 2-bucket method. 1 bucket with clean water, 1 with soapy water. Once you sprayed it with soap, you can rinse it off, spray it again if you want, and then use the soapy bucket to give it another good rub down. Spray it off, and then also dry it very thoroughly. So I've already done that to the whole truck. Not gonna go over that process in today's video. We're gonna start off the process with the clay block. So we got a clay block and a luber. The luber is basically a lubricant that you're gonna spray on the paint, and then we're going to use the block to remove impurities from the paint, basically give us a nice fresh surface before we put the ceramic coating on. The next step after that would ideally be to polish the vehicle. I don't own all of the things necessary for polishing, and it really adds a lot of time to the process. I'm not picky enough to do that at this point, so that's not going to be part of this video, but that's something you could consider doing if you've got a lot of swirling or other scratches that you want to try to remove before you put the ceramic coating on. I could see maybe long-term going back and doing that, as the ceramic coating will last about a year, so maybe next year when I protect the paint again, maybe I'll polish it at that point. Next step is going to be Hydrocharge. This is a spray-on ceramic coating, and you're going to need a applicator, microfiber applicator pad to put this on. That's basically our first coat. You can do up to 4 coats of that. I'll probably do 2 coats, and you need to allow about 2 to 3 hours before applying each of the next coats of that. So this video will carry on for a couple of days on my end. So if I change clothes or look a little different, that's why. Once we've put a couple coats of that on, again, we're gonna have to wait 2 or 3 hours, and then Hydro Slick is the next coating that we're gonna put on. You can do multiple coats of this as well, and then again, you're gonna have to wait longer for that. I'll probably do 1 coat of the Hydro Slick. And then the last step is the Hydro Speed. Even if you decide to just watch this video and not do the ceramic coating yourself, I would recommend taking a look at this product. I've been really impressed with it so far. I've already been using it on the truck up until this point. Every time that I wash it, when I'm done, I dry the truck off and then I spray this coating on. It's basically like a spray-on wax. I can do the whole truck in about 5 to 10 minutes, and it gives it a really nice soft feel and just a real thin protective layer. Basically, you're doing a quick wax with this. Helps protect the paint. You will go through a lot of this, especially on a vehicle this size, and so I've already bought the refill for that. Recommend that you maybe consider doing the same. So those are the products we're using. We'll start off with the clay block and go from there. As I go through this process, I'm just going to show you the passenger side door, and then when I cut out, I'll take care of the rest of the truck. I don't think you guys want to see the whole process to make this video a lot longer. And again, the first step is going to be using our clay block here. I do recommend that you wear a glove, otherwise your skin's going to turn bluish green. And we're going to use the luber first to lubricate the paint. Basically just apply it pretty liberally and get a nice wet surface. And then we're going to use the block to remove its impurities. So we're just going to go ahead and spray our door. Pretty good here. Do recommend that you have a microfiber cloth for this step too, so that you can kind of clean off the clay block as you go. So we're going to start by just going in linear motions, and we're going to go horizontal. I'm just going to go back and forth, get the whole door. And this should slide across the paint very easily. If it's not, you probably need to apply more of the luber. This one smells pretty good. You guys will enjoy it. My daughter enjoys it too. Unfortunately, the other steps of the process don't smell as good. It smells more like you're using gasoline on your paint. But this one does smell nice. So again, we're just gonna go horizontal on the whole door here. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and just clean off the clay block in case there's any dust or dirt or anything that you pick up. And now we're gonna go vertical. Again, in linear motions. Got our key in the truck. It always gets me when I'm washing it. Okay, and then now that we've got that, we're just gonna rub it off. We're just gonna go nice, smooth, linear motions again here. Get it nice and dry. And you will notice a difference with this step. If you put your fingers on a section of the truck that you haven't already done, I should have given you an example before I applied this actually. It'll have kind of a rough feel to it. So if you rub your fingers on there, you'll kind of hear a little scratching. But on here it's just super smooth. So you can see we've got a nice clean surface now. And once you get all that off, just continue around the vehicle. Use the clay block on the whole vehicle, and then we'll get to our next step. As I mentioned, I'm not going to be polishing in this video, but if you are going to polish, this is the point in the video where you want to do it. Once you've done the clay block on the whole vehicle, go ahead and give it a good polish, and then we're going to move on to the Hydrocharge, which again is a spray-on ceramic coating. This one smells pretty good, so I recommend that you open up your garage or wear a mask. For this portion of the video, I'm not going to do that because I'm filming. But once I'm done and I do the rest of the truck, I'm gonna be opening up the garage door to give myself some fresh air because this does smell pretty strong. With the Hydrocharge, we are going to use an applicator pad. We're gonna go ahead and spray the pad, get it nice and wet. And Hydrocharge should only go on the paint. So no glass, no plastics, none of the trim, basically just paint. And we're gonna take our pad, and again, we're just gonna go in those linear motions. We're gonna go horizontal. Get good coverage on all of the paint. Reapply the coating onto the pad as needed, but a little bit should go a long way here. And depending on how hot it is, it's gonna affect how long you wanna leave this on. If it's really hot, it's recommended that you leave it on for about 30 seconds, otherwise about a minute or two. So that's how long I'll probably leave it on before removing. So again, linear motions, we're gonna go horizontal, and then we're going to go vertical. Okay, and with that on, we are gonna wait a minute or two and then we'll remove it. All right, now that it's been a couple minutes, we're gonna go ahead and remove it. We're gonna use a lot of microfiber cloths in this video, so I recommend that you have quite a few ready. And just as you go, I think it's good to just replace it consistently. So as I go through this process on the exterior, I'll probably go through 2 or 3 cloths just to make sure that I'm not, spreading around any impurities if there's anything that's still left on the paint. As I mentioned, you can do up to 4 coatings of this step, but you've got to leave 2 to 3 hours in between each coat. So as I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the truck, and then it's going to be past my bedtime in 2 to 3 hours. So we'll be back at it tomorrow to put on the next coat. Welcome back for day number 2. This morning I applied the second coat of Hydrocharge. It's had a few hours to cure now, and we are ready to apply the first coat of Hydroslick. The process here is pretty much the same, but the product looks a little bit different. Again, we're going to use an applicator pad, and we're just going to squeeze out a couple of dots of this gel onto the pad. And then we're going to apply it in the same manner. Just spread it on. We're going to start with horizontal, and then we'll go vertical. Nice linear motions. One thing that is different about this layer is that you can apply it to plastics, wheels, chrome. I haven't gone to the effort of cleaning the windows to a point that I'd want to apply this just yet, but I do think it would be worthwhile to do that. We've got hard water where I live, and particularly on the sunroof, I could see it being very advantageous to coat that so that the hard water doesn't leave spots on it. But for today's effort, we're just going to focus on the paint. Again, it is worth noting that you can apply multiple coats of this, I believe up to 2 coats. But for the sake of time, I'm going to have to go with just a single coat because I still need to let this cure and then apply the Hydro Speed before I take it to work tomorrow. Okay, so we got our horizontal, now we'll go vertical. And this is basically just to make sure we got a really nice even spread, good coverage. And then again, we're gonna have to give it a few minutes to cure. It's about 50 degrees outside. If it's hot when you're applying this, then you're gonna wanna remove this quicker than that. But I think about a minute or 2 should be perfect for us. So go ahead and give that another minute, and then we'll clean it off. All right, it's been about a minute, so now we're gonna go ahead and just remove it. And again, we're just taking a clean microfiber cloth, and we're just gonna rub it off. This is a little bit harder to rub off than the last coating. But just take nice, smooth motions. All right, that looks pretty good. Go ahead and let that cure for a few more hours, then we'll apply the Hydro Speed. The Hydro Slicks had a few hours to cure, and that brings us to the last step, which is the Hydro Speed. If you guys recall at the beginning of the video, I mentioned if you don't do the rest of this process, at least do the Hydro Speed. It's the easiest step by far, and you can do it by itself. Every time that I wash my vehicle, I'll dry it off, spray this on real quick, and then wipe it off. Probably takes me about 10 or 15 minutes to do the whole Tundra. Provides a nice protective coating and gives it a really nice smooth finish. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray this onto the door, and then we're gonna wipe it right off. This also helps to basically protect the ceramic coating. Every time that I wash the truck, I'm gonna be using the Hydro Suds soap, and then I'll be using this Hydro Speed at the end, and it just kinda protects the overall coating, kind of builds on top of it. But whether you've got a full ceramic coating or not, like I mentioned, you can just do this by itself after you wash the vehicle. And it also works pretty nice as just kind of a detailer. When you finish washing, if you've got a few little spots that you missed or some sections that maybe didn't shine up quite as well, this is very effective at that. It gives it a really nice finish and a really nice shine. Certainly the most satisfying step of this process, doing the ceramic coating. Nothing else feels quite as smooth as the Hydro Speed. And see, we've got a beautiful finish here. Again, the blueprint looks great when it's clean and scratch-free. Hopefully this will help to protect it well into the future. So that's it for the video. If it was helpful or if you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And for more videos of the all-new Tundra, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.